I think this might. Well, good afternoon. November 11th, Remembrance Day in Canada. And, as I was sort of contemplating that this morning, you think a couple of world wars, all the people who didn't come back or came back all bits and pieces and damaged, if they knew what was going on in the world today, what would they say? They got all gung-ho and believed our politicians that they were going to fight for freedom and democracy. And I wonder if globalism was ever in their minds. Would they have given up their lives for what seems to be transpiring right now, with the whole Western world shut down? Right now in British Columbia, we're under a state of an emergency. I just noticed on the British Columbia website due to this Wuhan waltz deal. And I wonder what those brave men and women would say if they saw what we are doing now. And of course, some of the people are still alive, and I'm wondering what their thoughts are about globalism and socialism and having the elite dictate what we are going to be doing. Would they have given up their lives to fight for that? Probably not. Although we have clowns in the streets, especially out in the U.S., we have clowns in our government here who are all for that, silently supporting it. And I think it's a disgrace. I think it's obscene and stupid, but that's just me. But talking about obscene, distasteful, and stupid, as you look at what's happening stateside with their election, and none of the mainstream media just sort of showing the other side of the coin. Just still pumping their propaganda. It would make Soviet newspapers envious. It must make the CCP in China envious that so many of us believe this mainstream media bullshit and the censorship from the Three Stooges, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And I call them the Three Stooges because they're stooges. They're stooges for somebody else, or they have these grandiose opinions that they're going to run the show after. And are they useful idiots right now? I don't know. But talking about, I'll put some, as always, I'll have some links in the situation. But this morning when I got up, I was going out to meet some guys for a coffee, and right on my front door I had a couple of sheets of paper stapled together. And I'm not going to go into detail of who, what, where. I'm going to give you an idea of what it's about. Because as I've often said, we look at what happens in the States and in this new world order coming along, this International Monetary and the World Economic Forum, the idiots at WHO, having everybody in the world sort of locked down right now. You got to look at your own location. You got to look at your own municipality, your own city, your town or state, province, because there's jackasses working there too. And I'm going to get my glasses so I read this properly. It's Remembrance Day here today, so everything's closed, so I can't check with anybody at the city or any of the councillors or the mayor. I can't check with anybody. I can't get a hold of anybody because everybody's on their day off. But here's the gist of it all. And before I say this, North America has been sending toxic waste and garbage and junk to the Philippines, to China, to a lot of third world countries. And while in Canada, they've been sending it back now. They say, look, we've had enough of your shit. Don't send us anymore. They're sending it back. Now, where I live on Vancouver Island, it's just wonderful here. And if you've ever visited, you know what I'm saying. Now, of course, we have industry in that because you need that. And let me preface this by saying you can't stop industry, you can't stop development. You got to have industry and jobs, and we're such a resource-rich country that we should be developing that, and not just shipping out raw material, but doing some manufacturing and some just processing of our own natural resources. But we do not do that most of the time. We just ship, dig it and ship it, cut it and ship it. And if you're familiar with British Columbia, well, you know, there people line up, and the First Nations or the Native American Canadians blockade roads and what have you because they don't want a pipeline. They don't want anything coming through this area. And you know, you can't just stop progress. For all you green, yellow tree huggers out there, you gotta still have to have some industry, and I'm all for that. But remembering it's 2020, not 1720 or 1820 or 1920, we can do things much safer and much more environmentally sound if we put our minds to it. But I have debates every day with people bitching about a plastic straw, using a plastic bag, having a pipeline come through. They're going to the protest about the pipeline in their gas guzzlers, their SUVs, smoking, burning oil. They don't think about that. Nobody's walking to the protest or cycling to the protest. They're all driving. But we want to get rid of stuff that we just have fallen in love with, that we need to keep our industries and that going. And it's like the carbon tax. I don't want to get into that right now because it's totally goofy. But we're paying it. We're heavily taxed in British Columbia. So with all of that said, we don't want pipelines. We don't want any natural resources. We want to have a totally green economy. And in the town I live in, let me see, the environmental manager has approved what I'm about to say. There's a company, and I'll name the company, but I have to call the company first, talk to their representatives, and talk to some of the people at City Hall and in the province. Because there's always 40 sides to a thing. You got to walk around the circle and check every degree, see what the hell's happening. But I'm going to read the rest of this message. It was posted on my door. Toxic landfill phase 3. Toxic landfill phase 3. Well, where did phase 1 and 2 come from? You know, politicians and bureaucrats slip things through. They don't really make a big fanfare of shit that they should. Now I remember I talked to a mayor at one time who was planning on burning garbage at a site on where I live, and I said, that is so asinine. And his response was, him and some other people had a free junket to Europe to see how they do it there, and it was going to create jobs. I said, how many jobs is it going to create? 3 or 4? And wherever you went in Europe, were they perched on the edge of the Discovery Passage? If you don't know where the Discovery Passage is, just Google a map and you'll see the Discovery Passage. Maybe you've sailed up this way or boated up this way or had a holiday. Maybe you live here. But here's the deal. This is what they're applying for, phase 3. They want to extend. The plan is to dump 85,000 metric tons annually on this site that's right on the ocean. Apparently the city has given a green light and the notice is posted at the site. So I drove around for a while, went out and saw it, and I saw the notice. These were stuck on top of the notice as well. It's a great big 4x8 sheet, white sign up there with some black lettering, and you're driving by. It's a crazy area. It's hard to see, but when you finally see it. So 85,000 metric tons annually at this site. City has given the green light. These are our environmentalists this really pisses me off, because these politicians and bureaucrats are always going on and on about plastic straws and all this other shit. And if they've allowed this, I will put names on here if they have, but I got to find it out first. I will give you every councillor and the mayor, everybody involved in this. I think it's crazy, if it is true. Although I was on the site, I finally found it and talked to a person there, and they said, yeah, we have a sign what's going on up there. And the sign is sort of, I think, a little bit bogus. Now you imagine, do you want 85,000 metric tons of waste in your community annually? Without a whole lot of news and fanfare going on. On this letter I got, and I went down to look at the property, and I agree with this line. The current site leaches and relies on a pumping system to stop it from going onto the beach and into the oceans. Toxins such as arsenic have been found in the tidal flats. Now, I haven't been there to test that, so I don't know, but I'm just reading that line because it's sort of alarming. The plan is to take waste for Vancouver Island, although waste is being brought in from Vancouver. What else is that I can read without... So the list of approved substances: boiler ash, asbestos, solid sewage sludge, dredged material, collection water, demo debris, toxic metal in wood, and mineral soil, plus unknown materials as approved by the director. They're also... The name of the outfit is applying to be free from the requirement to inform the public of materials dumped. So if they're bringing something in that is a little bit dodgy, they don't have to tell us about it. And this is right on the ocean. They can barge this shit in as well as bring it by truck. Think about that. Do you want that? Would you want that going through your community? The rezoning application can be found at the city and I've been looking for it, can't find it. The city has sort of buried that, and I have fairly decent computer skills, but I haven't been able to find it on their site. It's got to be there somewhere, but like a lot of government sites, things get buried, and you go through this damn maze of come back next week sort of thing. Now the company that is doing this is a numbered company. And they tell me on this note, and I haven't been able to confirm this, it's under a U.S. bankruptcy court, the original company, in 2016. So they now come back with a numbered company to do this crap. And I'll post this up as soon as I talk to people who can give me the other side of the story. Toxic landfill expansion. Landfill permit number 1602. Environmental manager has approved this, has okayed this. And the province has a hand in this as well. And the province that just called a snap election and got its majority, Horgan's Heroes, who protest pipelines and a lot of other things. If they've allowed this, they're the biggest hypocrites ever. One thing I can't stand is people who pretend to be such protectors of the environment and do shit like this. Remember, what this is phase 3, so 1 and 2 have slipped by. And sometimes we're looking at the big picture, miss the small picture. We've been watching our mass bandit in Ottawa, Justin Trudeau, and his wee scandal and all of his scandals that he sweeps under the rug. And watching the mass bandit Biden stealing an election, apparently looks like he has, if you look at the other side. So sometimes we miss what our own idiots are doing close to home. And we'll give you more on that later. If you live on that island, start checking it out. Maybe you've got one of these posters that says "Say no to a zoning application." toxic landfill. And of course, stapled behind is another letter explaining what they're doing. And like I say, we will, next video, I'm going to talk to some people tomorrow. In the next video, we will put some names on here, numbers, so you can, if you live in the area, if you live on the island, you can call. Or if you're just maybe a summer vacationer. We have a lot of people spend summers up here on sailboats and their cruisers. It's a gorgeous area. Now just think of this. Next time you're up and you're going through Discovery Passage and just past the city I live in, and just think that they have a toxic landfill going on there. Well, who in the hell knows what all? You know, it's interesting. Now you've got to put this somewhere, but you don't put it on the ocean. You don't put it on the ocean. These guys will sort of, if you drip a little bit of diesel fuel when you're filling up your tank on your sailboat or on your boat, they'll be all over your ass about it. They're going to do 85,000 metric tons annually. Well, that's what they say. You know, you give people a little bit of leverage and they really stretch it all over hill. They say they have 600-acre site there on the water, so that's what they're going to do with it. Brilliant. Totally brilliant. Well, take care for now. See you tomorrow. Bye.